Put him down. Put him down. I'm not looking up.
3, 2,
All right, we are back to the Agony of Positivity podcast. I am Ross, joined by...
So
Oh, that sounded great. So we've both survived. We had quite the unintended hiatus there.
yes,
For sure.
yes. Well, it's funny, because I got sick. Whenever I think like December 16th,
Uh-huh.
17th. So in my mind, I'm still waiting for Christmas.
Yeah, like it just never got around.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you got sick, I got sick. Like, it's been a whirlwind of stuff.
yeah.
So if we still have people who are listening, usually when you subscribe to the podcast, you forget about it if they don't do a show. And then all of a sudden it pops up and you're like, oh, or at least that's how it is for me. So hopefully
Sure.
this will find people and they'll be like, oh, they didn't die. That's good.
Sure.
But yeah, so now we talked just real quick. You were willing to share because you pretty much had COVID. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know which one I had. I don't know if it's the Megatron, the Delta.
Unicron. Unicron's the one we got to watch out for.
Sure.
But yeah, we were kind of comparing stuff. But so you said you had like a fever. Now, not
Yes.
like 107 fever or anything crazy, but you had a
No,
fever for like 2 weeks straight.
I think the highest my fever got was 102.
Okay.
And that was in the middle of it, I guess. The storm, as they call it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but so were you feeling like, because a lot of people talk about like the respiratory stuff, like chest or lung issues or anything like that,
Yeah.
or did you just have like the feel really awful?
Yeah. So yeah, I never had any breathing problems or anything.
Okay.
The only thing, like I said, I had a fever. It took away. It wiped out my appetite.
Yeah.
I don't think I hardly ate anything for like 2 weeks.
I've heard some people talk about that. Did you have like taste and smell issues?
Nope, my wife did. She
Okay.
lost her taste and smell.
Did she have the fever as well, or?
She had a fever. The thing that got her was she had a really bad cough.
Okay. Which is more like what people kind of think of,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, because, I don't know. Everyone, like, I'm surrounded by people that have had it. This go round, I have not had it. I get to keep my unique COVID that I caught back in 2020 that was not good.
You might have had the first strand.
I'm once, because again, when I had it, it was like that February or like the end of January. So you
Yeah.
couldn't get tested unless you were in certain
Yeah.
demographics.
So you were at the beginning stages of COVID.
Yeah, I could not get tested. But I always have said, I'm pretty sure I had it, but I wasn't sure. But sometimes, like, some people get like a rash kind of thing.
Yep.
And you knew someone who had one of those, and I happen to have a picture
Yep.
because nobody could tell me what it was at that time. And you're like,
Yep.
oh, that looks exactly like what they had.
Yeah.
So, considering all the other symptoms I've had back then, I'm just gonna say that I had COVID at this point.
Yeah.
And it was
Well,
I think we've talked about that on the show a couple times. It's come up, but like that was the sickest I've been.
sure.
Probably ever. Like the only thing that could have ever rivaled it was I had food poisoning,
Yeah.
a sinus infection, and caffeine withdrawal all at the same time.
Sure.
But
Sure.
that lasted for like a day
Yeah.
or two. What I had was over a week of just absolute misery.
Sure.
Coughing, fever,
Yeah.
weird rash that hurt, lost my voice, fever dreams of being a pastry chef.
Yeah. Well, because my mom had COVID back in Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
and she developed a rash that hurt and everything.
Yeah.
And I developed a rash. That's how I know so much about COVID rashes. 'Cause I looked it up because my mom had it,
Yeah.
and then I developed it. Apparently, only 9% of the population that gets COVID gets this rash. So I guess I
Go-
won something.
Go us.
But see, my rash didn't hurt or anything. So and I just put lavender oil on the rash, and it seemed to help.
For mine, I honestly thought that. So I was sleeping on like a recliner
Yeah.
deal that had like one of those drink trays that pulls out to the next or
Yeah.
next to you. I honestly thought that I had shifted and threw my hip into the hard corner of that thing.
I
And
remember
had like
you
a
telling
hip,
me that.
yeah, like a hip pointer or something. Like it was so bad because the only thing I can compare it to is like I fractured my hip when I
Yeah.
skateboarded when I was younger, and it swelled up and turned purple like that.
Yeah.
And that was the only thing I could think of, like because at that time I hadn't heard about anybody having a rash from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, because I see it, and I think again these are things we've talked about, but like I've been vaccinated, but
Yeah.
I get why people are skeptical of pharmaceutical companies. I mean, you have the stuff like some of the CEOs have come out and been like, "Oh yeah, we definitely think you should get this other one," and like pretty much everybody now at this point is like, "I'm starting to feel suspicious about some of these things."
Sure.
Where it's like, so the person who benefits from this is suggesting it, but like different health groups are like, we don't know if that's such a good idea. And it's like, this is what people were afraid of.
Sure.
Or the more untrustworthy to the pharmaceutical people. Again, not there's robots in the vaccine people. There's a difference in my mind.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, like everyone I know currently who's had it, like I work around a school, and I'm off today because calamity day or chaos day or whatever you want to call it. Because it's like, all right, we got to figure out something different. But like, yeah, like there's people who aren't vaccinated who have it. There's people who are vaccinated who had it. Severity doesn't seem to. It's not affected by one thing or the other.
Yeah.
Like people in the same household where it's like, oh, one person's vaccinated and one person's not. In one case, the vaccinated person, it's much worse for them. The other is the reverse. So,
Sure. Well, it's funny. My sister got COVID back in around Thanksgiving, and she was sick, and she's not vaccinated or anything, but she was sick maybe like 2 or 3 days, and then that was it. Because she got foot and mouth disease from her son back in September, and she's like, she goes, COVID is nothing, at least as far as her perspective.
Yeah.
She goes, COVID is nothing compared to foot and mouth disease. She goes, that thing is nasty. So, I mean, it's just weird how COVID just affects different people. So,
yeah. Well, usually because, like, you'll have the people who are 100% like, oh, it's just a cold, or oh, it's just a flu.
Yeah.
And in most cases, like if you're going from like death rate, assuming death rate is the worst, but like what I had was way worse than a flu I've ever had, but I couldn't even get tested back then. And honestly, like I wouldn't have been able to afford to go to the hospital, so even if I knew, it not like it would have done anything. So, but yeah, there's like people who just assume that if they get it and it's mild, oh, that's what it is for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's not correct. Now, granted, it is not likely that you are going to get the most extreme version, but you could.
Sure.
Like, it's like sinus infections. I have sinus infections that you got to get antibiotics for, and sometimes you can just use like a saline nasal spray for a day or two, and then you're good.
Sure. Yeah. So the main thing that we're trying to tell people, COVID is real. it's not fun. So do what you can. Take your vitamins. Get a vaccine. I don't know.
Yeah,
Do all the above.
I do, because I'm around more people that seem to believe that the best case scenario, where it's like, is the only thing that exists. So I'm definitely seeing where if you're like the regular doctors or health officials and that, and you're trying to tell people, hey, you can get sick, like, and people don't. And again, I'm talking about like that, the more vocal group, but the small group where they're like, it doesn't exist, or
The idiots.
no,
Yes.
yeah, like the extreme end on one side, which is always the most vocal. Like, man, social media is such a mistake. Like,
Sure.
if we could go back in time, that would be the thing to get rid of. But all right, so we'll move into a something fun or something legitimate here.
Just do what Hulk Hogan said. Take vitamin C, D, and zinc. There you go.
And say your prayers and
Say
train,
your prayers and train.
and have Vince McMahon feed bad guys to you that you can
Yes.
beat to look strong.
Then spray paint the WCW championship and become the champion for 2 years.
Yeah. Speaking of that, so despite being sick, have you been able to watch any wrestling? Or
Yeah,
Okay.
I watch a lot of wrestling.
You want to do some wrestling talk?
Yeah. Sure, can.
All right, let's do that, and then we'll see where that gets us. Here we go.
Well, I don't know what the hell's going on here, folks. Looks like he's just wearing blue pants.
This is a revolution.
All right, so a lot has happened since we
Sure.
both fell off the earth and had to
Yeah,
climb
Ring
back
of
on.
Honor. Ring of Honor's no more, pretty much.
Yeah, well, they actually have announced a event coming up in April,
Oh, yeah?
I think. I laughed because I think it's on April 1st. I was
Oh.
like, I hope that doesn't turn out to
They're
be
trolling people.
Yeah, no, I don't think they would do that. But let's see, NWA is back on YouTube.
Oh, are they?
Yep, so you don't have to pay to watch them anymore. I understand why they did that, but that definitely, like, because I think we were both kind of watching it pretty regularly, or at least trying to
Yeah.
like keep up with it.
One of those
And
on
then-
YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, and then the pandemic hit, and they had to try to find a way to make some money, basically.
Yeah, their product's not good enough for me to pay whatever.
I think it was like $5, but
Yeah.
I mean, for $5 you can get the Peacock and have WWE's entire library.
Sure.
As long as you're willing to occasionally watch their premium live event, not pay per view.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think if WWE didn't have the back library that they had,
Mhm.
that anyone would have, like, because early on it was exciting and it was new. WWE still actually wasn't all that bad. Some of the things that people like us, and there's a lot of people who just don't like some of their strategies, we'll say, as far as like how they run the show.
Yeah.
Like, without that library, do you think it would have been, if it would have held on to as many people as it did? Or do you think more people would be like, I'm not going to pay this much just for, like, Attitude Era Raws and,
Honestly, I think the free pay-per-views helps them. To be
yeah.
honest with you. I mean, yeah, the library helps, I guess. I mean, because you get to watch the old stuff, but I think the big draw is the pay-per-views.
Yeah. You mean the premium
Personally.
live event?
Yes, yes.
Pay-per-view is a banned term on this show now. We're going to start like the Vince McMahon banned terms. Anytime we talk about WWE, we have to use their protocol. You know how
Yes.
frustrating that would be?
Yes.
Other than the pronouns thing. Like, that's fine. Like, where you say the person's name instead of the pronouns so you know who you're talking about.
Yes.
Because that definitely gets confusing. So that one I think is good. But, yeah, no more, you got to call it a championship. No more title. No more belt. God, that'd be
Yeah.
awful. I'm going to print
Weird.
that out, like some of the ones that go around, and try to follow it one day. And just see how poorly I do.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the NWA. Like, so you think you'll start watching again?
Yeah, if it's free on YouTube, yeah. I'll watch
Yeah,
it.
there's it's supposed to be that, and they have like NWA USA or something.
Okay.
Like, I forget. Let's take a look real quick. I'll get the actual information because we have NWA Power. I think Friday was the last one, and then because there's one set for 6 o'clock tonight, and then there's a post show that they do a certain point. Yeah, and NWA USA is the other show. I have no idea if that's like their Rampage or their Raw, secondary shows that they don't put nearly as much effort into.
Yeah.
See how I threw Raw in there?
Yes.
That's because I'm bitter about knowing there's such good wrestlers that I just can't get into anything they do.
It's so weird that Raw was like that was their flagship, and now it's just like, man.
It feels that way.
Now having Brock Lesnar on there as the champion, I think it'll help. But
speaking of like WWE stuff, did you see where? I assume you did. Like, if you've ever looked at wrestling news, you saw it. Like Regal, Samoa Joe, and some of those guys who got released.
All Triple H's guys. Yeah.
I mean, it sure seems that way, right?
That's what I'm saying. Man, I think that Nick Khan guy is a guy that the Click tormented, and he's like, "Oh, I'm back now. I'm going to destroy you guys."
Like, I got the power now.
Shawn Michaels is the only one left.
I wonder, because Shawn Michaels is clearly like a WWE guy, like for sure. But if they were, do you think they won't release him because they know that he has that streak in him where he would absolutely show up somewhere else just to be difficult?
I don't know. I mean, Shawn Michaels is old, so it's not like he's going to be putting on 5-star matches anymore.
I would argue that amongst current wrestlers at his age, if he actually like trained, I'm not talking about the DX Brothers of Destruction thing that happened. I would wager that he could still put on a better match than, I'm going to say 30% of active wrestlers currently that are on TV.
I mean, I guess you could do a Darby Allin Sting thing, but I just can't see Shawn Michaels in that role,
Yeah, I don't know what he would do. Like, a lot of people, like, the wildest speculation is that, like, oh, Triple H is super mad or he's going to quit or something. But I don't think he will.
He ain't going to quit. His wife is
second
man's
majority
daughter.
shareholder, I think. Well, and I mean, he's in a situation like he could just quit. Like, he could just quit. He doesn't have to do anything else. Like,
I mean,
he could still sell his stock, like whatever share of stock he has, and be fine, I'm sure. Like, and never have to work. He could be stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
But yeah, were you surprised by Regal or Samoa Joe being let go again? Because those seem to be like the biggest names.
No, I don't think so. I mean,
honestly, I was surprised by Regal because I figured he'd be the kind of guy that you keep around just as like a mentor type person.
I mean, because Samoa Joe, I guess, and Regal, or especially Regal, we're all backstage guys, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So, I mean, if you're starting a whole new NXT,
like a new philosophy.
I understand why you want to get rid of these people because, I mean, you and me both work for a company that when you keep the old people from the previous administration, it doesn't work. You just need you need to get rid of them to do a new philosophy. So
yeah,
I understand the reasoning behind it.
Yeah. So do you think it's guilt by association, like, oh, you were Triple H's guy, so you're out of there, or it's more like we just want to purge everything of that old way and then reevaluate?
I mean, realistically, I don't think Nick Khan's targeting all Triple H. I just think it's just, like,
so one of the other theories is there are people involved who are pushing to get rid of those guys as a vendetta.
Yeah, I just don't see. I legitimately think it's a business thing. Where
Yeah,
like,
where
okay,
it's just like
new philosophy.
that's the old guard. We bring in
Yeah.
new guard, like our guys, to do it our way.
Because I 100% believe that Vince McMahon does not care about NXT. So
Now, if it were to come out one day, we're like, oh yeah, it was absolutely punishment to Triple H because he failed to
sure,
whatever the intent was. Would you not be surprised though to find that out?
yeah, because Vince is a weirdo, so it would not surprise me.
Let's see. Trying to think. There's been like so much that happened. I mean, we had like a whole month. The things that stick out to me. What did you think? We're going way back here. It feels like the Mr. Hangman and Bryan Danielson, the 60-minute draw.
Yeah,
Were you
I
a
think
fan of
Bryan-
that, or
I think Bryan Danielson should have won that belt. The first draw I have no problem with,
yeah,
but I think Bryan Danielson should have beat Hangman.
really?
Hangman's kind of boring. I'm sorry. He's
I don't know.
to me at least,
Right.
he's just boring.
Well, I mean, for sure, like the chase was absolutely the big thing there. I don't think he's going to hold it for very long.
No. Like I said, he's boring.
I mean, he's easier to set up a story around him going for it. We'll see. Like, because again, like heels are more interesting in the title picture. Like that's what I've grown to accept.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't think Archer's going to be the guy to beat him. I still
No.
think it'll be MJF at some point.
I think MJF's probably the best.
Yeah.
Once he gets rid of this stupid CM Punk thing.
Right. The
Because I'm not digging that. I'm just like, yeah. Okay.
like where he powerbombed Punk 10 times.
I'm just not into this whole feud that he has with MJF. I don't know.
It's been good, but it's a very old school drawn out feud.
Yes.
So, like, I'm fine with it because, like, that's whatever. It is weird that, I mean, did you watch Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that he at least made Wardlow look like a monster?
Sure. I mean, I think I think he set up the inedible. Is the word I'm looking for?
Inevitable? Yes.
Yes, the
Turn?
the turn that he's going to do on MJF, and then Wardlow won't be as powerful because
He'll be a
baby
good guy.
faces.
He's going to get Green Rangered. He's going to
Yes,
go from
yes.
having, like, extra accessories to not.
Well, I mean, for example, look at in the past with Sid, how powerful he was, and then when he became babyface, yeah.
Now, it is possible, because I don't think we've had, other than, like, as far as alignments changes, I don't think we've had anything that's a massive alignment change except for Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
Well, Kenny. But Kenny was still crafty.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's possible they'll let Wardlow still be Wardlow, just directed at bad guys.
Now, who do you think? Now that this is kind of changing the Wardlow subject here, but who do you think is going to be the good guy when Kenny Omega comes back, and him and Adam Cole? Because that's what they're setting up.
Yeah.
Who do you think? Who do you think is going to be the bad guy in that situation?
At the moment, Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Depending on what they do between now and then, it's hard to say. But I mean, they're clearly going for undisputed time frame against the Bucks and Kenny, I would assume.
Yeah.
Like, is the long term there?
Yeah.
Because AEW has been kind enough to continue the the Undisputed Era's storyline and
Yes.
give it like a conclusion. It looks like. I mean,
It's
technically
weird.
they had a conclusion on NXT, but
Sure.
I just like the idea that they've completely accepted that happened and acknowledged it.
Well, they did the same thing with Malachi Black. So it's just weird how AEW say, "Oh yeah, we'll continue the storyline. Thanks, WWE."
Yeah, well, they're where it's like, well, this is easy, and again, like the fans know, like if they bring in Kyle O'Reilly and he's teamed up with Adam Cole, and you don't at least acknowledge what had happened,
Yeah,
it's be like, we were watching that. Like if you're gonna reference them, you can't reference them as a team and not reference that they tried to kill each other,
sure.
kind of thing. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, now that they have Britt Baker kind of involved with the undisputed
Whatever.
yeah, whatever you want to call them. I don't know what they call them. I mean, you could even have Kenny Omega and Rio. I mean, so
Yeah.
they have all the
I didn't
pieces.
think about that because that actually
Yeah.
makes sense because
Exactly.
Britt's had such a problem with her.
Yeah.
Um,
So I mean, you're having all the pieces to one epic battle, I guess, a feud to last all year because that's
Well,
what
I mean, they
AEW
got-
does.
best friends are currently involved, so we got 4 years of TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I am excited for the Orange Cassidy Statlander Cole and Cole and Britt match for next week.
Yeah.
Like I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I still like Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
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 I know
Yeah.
he's tainted to begin with because of the best friends, but
Yes.
I like that the subtle evolution to where he's not just like, totally lazy.
Yeah, they're
Like,
slowly
he's-
building his character.
Yeah, he's much more like a wrestler now than he was as just like kind of like the attraction to see, and they play it up that it's all mind games. So
Yep.
like I think they've handled it good. I mean, he's good in the ring too. Like,
Sure.
like I've been happy with it. It's not like he's going to be world champion in the next month, so it's fine for what it is.
Sure.
Trying to think if there was. It feels like there's all kinds of stuff. Did you see where Mickey James, while being with Impact, is going to be in the Royal Rumble?
Nope. Well, there's rumors that I guess John Unitas has been talking to Tony Khan.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason. I guess they're trying to do like biography and stuff.
Yeah,
But there's rumors that they want Chris Jericho in the Royal Rumble,
really.
which would be pretty neat.
I will say that, especially if he's under AEW contract,
Yeah.
that would be the craziest thing ever. Because I would not believe for a second that WWE would do that.
Sure. Well, which is
I mean,
why
the
WWE
Mickey James-
should do it.
Right. Well, the Mickey James thing is surprising to me.
Yeah.
But I could see where they would do that. Just kind of be like, well, maybe we do need to be more open. Like maybe there's like a slight change in philosophy.
Well, just like I don't understand why. For example, it happened a long time ago with when WWE, the DX invaded WCW. Because Triple H and Xbox both said that they was going to go all the way down to the ring if they would have allowed them.
Right.
WCW should have allowed that because that would have been
The craziest thing.
exactly. I mean, I don't understand why wrestling don't look.
Right.
Look at the bigger picture.
Yeah. Well, and like the Royal Rumble is the perfect thing where, yeah, okay, you're going to bring in Jericho. Obviously, you're not going to have him show up unless you have like a crazy agreement going on. Like, you're not going to have him show up and like beat up Roman Reigns. Like, obviously.
Sure.
But in the Royal Rumble, you can have him eliminate anybody. And the way that is structured, like, he can catch them when they're not looking.
Sure, and he could be eliminated, and it doesn't really hurt him that much either.
'Cause,
So
I mean, yeah, because you have 29 people who are not winning the Rumble. So,
sure, yeah. So I think it'd be cool. I think if it is true,
mhm.
Chris Jericho could be like, I'm using my song
yeah,
because I don't want to use your crappy whatever Walls of Jericho thing.
right.
So I don't know. I think it'd be cool, but
Yeah,
who knows?
well, and since he's part of the band who did it, like, rights should theoretically be a lot easier.
Sure, yeah, exactly. So
The only thing I could see that would discourage them is what if he gets a bigger reaction? Well, never mind. because they're so.
It's on their.
I'm trying to think of the way to say this. They're doctoring the sound, so they could have him come out to crickets if they wanted.
Sure, yeah. But I mean, who cares if he has a big reaction because it's on your pay-per-view, and it's on. People will be tweeting it. I mean,
yes,
I don't know.
I don't want someone else's dude being a bigger star than 90% of your roster.
Sure.
Or at least that would be the old way of thinking. Again, if they're going through with that, they're obviously totally changing their mind on a few things.
I hate to tell you this. The only stars they have is Roman Reigns and I guess Brock Lesnar. So, yeah.
Pretty much, like, so far as, like, super big names, yes.
Yes.
Like, as a wrestling fan, like, you have, like, Rollins, Lashley, like, where people are like, okay, yeah, we like these guys. But as far as, like, I don't know. I'd be curious to get, like, a focus group of, like, the ultra-casual wrestling fans.
Yeah.
And actually have discussions with them. Be like, so what's your guys' favorite thing? And then they would tell me RK Bro. And
well, I heard, it was a couple of weeks ago, people it was at Panera, and I was waiting for my food or whatever, and I heard these little teenage girls were like, yeah, that guy kind of looks like that Roman Reigns guy from that wrestling. And I was surprised because I was like, well, see, is Roman Reigns becoming more like is he getting popular like Hulk Hogan is? You know, because non-wrestling fans know who Hulk Hogan is.
Yeah.
So it's like Roman Reigns going to be
with Roman over Jason Momoa.
Sure, exactly. So it makes you kind of wonder, like, is Roman Reigns going to be as popular?
I don't think anyone can get as popular as Hogan in the rest of the world.
Sure.
Like K-pop, yeah. Like Hogan should be hoping to be as popular as K-pop, like in the old days. Like, because the people that are into that are like insane.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's definitely got to be the biggest overall star, I would say.
Like, he's the one with the biggest storyline going. Him and Brock Lesnar. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could do with never seeing them wrestle again, but it's always at least interesting.
Sure.
Let's see. Well, yeah, I don't really feel like going through like any particular show. You said you watched a lot of wrestling.
I watched a lot of wrestling.
Old stuff.
I think I did actually. I think I watched. I was watching a lot of Sid stuff. Just because
you just like power bombs is really what
that's what it is. Kevin Nash and Sid are the best power bomb guys. I really didn't like Bam Bam Bigelow's power bomb, but
I did not know that he did a power bomb.
Who, Bam Bam?
Yeah,
I thought he did, didn't he?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he was capable. I don't know. So my memories of Bam Bam are him fighting Lawrence Taylor. Which
okay.
I have very mixed feelings on that because, you know, New York Giants, but then Lawrence Taylor has had some things happen where it's like, I don't know about this guy.
Yeah.
But then it's someone who's not a wrestler fighting a wrestler. And like,
see, you and me's remembering of Bam Bam is completely different.
Yes.
Because I only remember
ECW.
him in Triple Threat. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. So it was impossible for me to watch ECW except for like the random pay-per-view I could catch.
Yeah.
And like I did not have easy access to the ECW Hardcore TV or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I haven't really had much desire to go back and watch old ECW except for like RVD and Jerry Lynn.
Yeah.
Because I think those were some of the most insane matches. I don't even know if you'd consider them a good match, but the amount of counters and how hard they went was always impressive.
There's a couple good storylines. The storyline with Shane Douglas and Taz is pretty good. Jerry Lawler invading. It was just kind of but
yeah, I remember that one. Speaking of Taz, real quick. So
we really haven't talked about Hook.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So what do you think so far how they've continued with Hook.
Pretty good.
The one thing I noticed, and this was against Aaron Solo, before they locked up, like, he looked, and I'm speaking about Hook here, like, he almost looked, lost isn't the right word, but unsure.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they were in contact, I felt like the confidence level was 100% different almost.
Okay.
Like, due to like his training, like, and other stuff, plus probably from Taz, like, he looked super comfortable, like, in contact doing moves. And it was the in between, like, walking around, like, basically, like, right before they locked up a couple times, it looked like he was unsure. But then as soon as there was, like, contact, it was like he knew exactly what he was doing. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was something that I just caught. But yeah,
I think.
Long as... Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think Taz needs to tell him, you need to stop, because I think he's playing up to the fans too much. I mean, not that he does it a lot anyway,
Right.
but when the fans start cheering him, he's getting a little bit more. You know, he's looking at them. He's kind of like, you know, showing off a little bit. I think he needs to stop that, because
I mean,
I don't know.
He's a young kid, though.
I understand that.
Now,
But,
do you think, because he's clearly positioned as a good guy right now.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, well, Aaron Solo. I mean, do you consider the Factory a good guy faction? Like him and QT, they're clearly the bad guys.
I consider them like guys who hang out in the back.
I like that your biasness against like a group is just 100%. Like you are fully committed.
It's just I don't know. The Factory, I just consider them like one. They're a little bit better than Dan Lambert. We'll just say that.
Oh man, I mean, he knows what a cowboy is. So
yes, he does. Yes.
If Dan Lambert was never on my TV again, I'd probably be all right.
I really hope they do not team up Lambert and Archer. I hope that does not happen.
Probably not.
Yeah.
By
the way, back to Hook.
Yeah.
I think Hook. I think what they're doing with Hook is pretty smart.
Yeah.
If anything, I would say he needs to bulk up some more.
Well, I mean, he's like 18, so he's got...
Exactly, yeah.
Well, because, like, who was it? Oh,
because
Sammy.
Jungle Boy has actually gotten bigger since he's joined AEW. So.
I mean, it takes time to... Unless you're, like, on the juice or something, like, it takes time to fill out.
Sure.
And a lot of these guys, because, like, that 27 to 30 time frame, like when you actually fill out as an adult a little bit more, like they haven't even gotten to that point. So
exactly, sure.
But it's hard to think because it's been a long time since there's been enough wrestlers around that aren't, 30.
Sure.
Or that I've paid attention to. I mean, that could be it as well. But
yeah,
for Hook, like his moveset's good. I mean, he obviously has to get better. We need to hear him do a promo at some point. But if he can't do a promo right now and they're not letting him, that's probably a better idea. Because right now it's not necessary.
AEW has a tag champion that can't do promos. I mean,
They have. Oh wait, yeah. I almost forgot that Jurassic Express won that after Pentagon's arm tried to run away from his body.
So do you think that was
Phoenix's.
So do you think that was an audible call? You think they were like, "Ooh, okay, Jurassic
needs," yeah, because like when Phoenix went down, if they were like, "Oh, we gotta change this," because that looked. Because at first, when I saw it happen, like, I saw him pointing at his arm, and I was like, did he hurt his arm?
Yeah.
And then they replayed it, and I saw what happened, and I was like, oh my God. His arm is broke, 100%.
Well, apparently it wasn't broke.
Yeah. I would have thought for sure, like, dollars to donuts kind of thing.
Yeah.
Definitely would have thought that was broken. but
Yeah, I mean, it looked nasty.
oh, it was bad.
Yeah.
And it's like, because people are like, oh, they didn't even need that table spot, and it's like, no, but that's what they do. Like
I did.
the Lucha
everybody was-
Brothers, that's what they do.
Yeah. Well, it was funny on Instagram. They were calling them Botchasaurus.
Yeah. See, I didn't think, because to me, like the way Pentagon put his arm out, it looked like he put his arm behind him.
Yeah.
And that's not like ideal. I mean, obviously, you're being choke slammed through a table. Your body's gonna, you're gonna try to brace yourself in some way.
Yeah.
But it like you're trying to do a move off the apron, so
Yeah.
like I think that's more just like a freak accident. The more impressive thing is they found something that Phoenix would actually sell as an injury. So
Sure. Yeah,
That's-
exactly. Now, I know we're all over the place here, but so what do you think about Pentagon looking like he's going to be teaming up with the varsity, whatever they call Blues or
Varsity Blondes,
Blondes? Yeah, that's what they're called. Yeah.
as weird as that is, the situation they have found themselves in,
Yeah.
it's fine. I hope
Well-
though that they portray how much of a bigger deal Pentagon is.
Sure.
Like if him and Alex Abrahantes
Yeah.
just are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like just explaining everything, like it doesn't matter. Like I think they could make it work just as long as they acknowledge that what a weird situation we are in right now.
Well, and then you got Julia, whatever her name is,
Pirate.
looking like she's going to join the House of Black.
You kind of think so, right?
That's what they seem to be hinting at, but I'm thinking you're not that good of a wrestler. I don't know. Maybe Malachi Black can help her, I guess. But
I mean, if you're going to be in a group, let's say you're new and you're learning, do you want to be
Sure.
around the Varsity Blondes, or do you
Sure,
want to be
yeah, well,
around
the House of Black, sure,
Malachi? Like,
yeah.
personally, I'm taking Malachi.
So, do you think Pac, that weird promo that he did, is joining the House of Black, or is he going to be against them?
So the tarot card he had was Justice.
Yeah,
Now I haven't looked. I'm sure there is way more in-depth speculation online, but I haven't read
Yeah.
that yet. But like I'm assuming because the eyes are X'd out. I don't know if that's how the card's supposed to look, but the eyes were
Sure.
X'd out. You
Yeah.
think like Justice is blind, which almost makes me think like a middle ground character.
superhero type. He's going back to the superhero.
Oh man, yeah, he comes out with a cape that
Yeah.
doesn't attach to the arms.
Yes.
I mean, it would make sense that he would go, like, he would fit in, like, from a, like, his style is
100%.
pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
Death Triangle, just due to his, like, he's not able to be around, and I don't know if that's due to travel restrictions or what it is.
From what I read, it sounds like it's all COVID restrictions, so he
Yeah.
has to.
Quarantine.
I guess it's a big hassle. So I guess he when he comes, he has to stay for like 3 weeks here. When he goes, he's a bit quarantined. So yeah, who knows?
Yeah, where it's like, okay, this is,
Him being in the House of Black, I think, would actually help him in this situation.
yeah.
Because you can explain him, going to the depths of hell or wherever the House of Black dwells.
He's been sent on weird sabbatical from Aleister
sure.
Black to think about what he's done.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, you got him. So I am not familiar with Brody King at all.
Yeah.
But he looks like a big, imposing dude for sure.
Sure.
But yeah, add Mr. Bastard, apparently, because that's his official last name.
Yes.
Because that's how the doctors address him.
Yes. Yes.
I hope that when he's back in the ring, that they have something where it looks like he is hurt, and the trainer actually comes up and calls him that.
Yes.
Like they make sure to catch it on camera where they're like, "Mr. Bastard."
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean that would be a good group because he's like the more fast, high flying, throw caution to the wind between the
Sure.
other ones. I'm assuming, unless Brody King is doing like springboards and stuff, and I just don't know.
Sure.
But yeah, and then you could potentially, if they ever need a fourth, if you bring in Buddy Murphy or Matthews, whatever he's going by, like you'd have a pretty good.
Well, people
team
were
there.
saying that Bray Wyatt would fit in there, and I'm thinking no, because Bray Wyatt's more of a leader, and Malachi
Yeah.
Black, it's kind of Malachi Black's faction.
Yeah, no, I mean at this moment he would. I think he would overshadow
Yeah,
Malachi. Now, let this thing get on a roll for 6 months, and you could definitely get where, oh, okay, now he could come in and it wouldn't be the same. But I kind of feel like he's not going to go to AEW.
I just don't see him fitting in AEW.
If you could go back in time and get like original Bray Wyatt when he was like cult leader dude,
Yeah,
like you could probably make that work.
Sure.
But so much crazy stuff has happened. It'd be hard. It's not impossible, and I mean I'm sure he's good enough that he could find something that would work. But
sure.
yeah, I'm not sure. But
Now, what do you think about Cody Rhodes and Sammy both having the championships?
I'm fine with it. I mean, UFC has done interim championships. Like
Yeah.
boxing does it. Like, legitimate sports do that.
So, how do you get rid of that title?
The Cody
The
and
interim.
whoever has the interim have like a unification match, basically.
Okay, yeah,
It's like when Razor and Sean had the ladder match for the 2 intercontinental titles, but
oh yeah, that's
less
true.
build. Because that's basically
Yeah.
what happened. Is Sean went away, but they didn't strip him of the belt. They
Yeah.
did the tournament. Razor had it, and then
Yeah.
Sean came back with nobody beat me, nobody stripped me of
Yeah.
this thing, or
Yeah.
whatever, or no one took the physical belt from me, so now I can walk around with it.
Yeah,
But yeah, so whoever it is, whether it's Sammy or if Sammy loses that to somebody else, you just have those 2 fight, and then you have your one champion. Like it's honestly like a simple way to get around not stripping somebody of a title
sure.
and giving a rematch like an actual reason.
Well, I was reading, and it kind of makes sense because the pay-per-view, or not, okay, it wasn't pay-per-view, but whatever it was
Yeah,
called Battle of the Belts.
Yeah.
and
It-
you needed a belt.
yeah,
so,
it fell to crap.
yeah,
Unfortunately,
yeah,
it was good for that one. Seeing Ricky Starks back in the ring
sure.
again, like he looked fine. Yeah, that whole thing, it was weird because like it was the same week that they moved to TBS, so they loaded up that show.
Yeah,
They weren't very clear on what the show was going to be when they announced it, so
Yeah.
people's expectations were like through the moon.
yeah,
I mean, I still watched it just because it was like, okay, I'll see what happens here. Because like honestly, I was more interested in Dustin versus Sammy
yeah,
than Cody and Sammy.
sure.
Because I actually
Sure.
thought Dustin might win that,
Yeah.
which would do no favors to Sammy. But
I Sammy's boring. I'm sorry. He just
he's a face champion. Like
he's
it's just. So
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
talking. I've known this, but it wasn't really in the front of my mind. Like, so in New Japan, they kind of put more emphasis on the number of title defenses as
okay.
opposed to the length of the reign.
Okay.
Do you think if for the TNT title, because
Yeah.
you're having people hold it for like kind of a decent length of time, and then they talk about the time frame, but like if they put more like for the TNT, like one of the titles or both of them, I mean they could just adopt that philosophy. That they don't stress like how long they've held it; they've stressed how many defenses they've had.
Okay.
So let's say Hangman, for example. Like this is my thought. Like it would work. It seems like it'd be more suited to like that TNT title to differentiate it, so it's its own thing and not just completely secondary to the world title. But
Yeah.
let's use Hangman for an example here. Like we don't expect him to have like a 1-year title reign. But
Yeah.
what if he came out and just, whether they were in the top 5 or not, he just was like, I'm going to defend this. Say Kenny Omega had 12 defenses. He was like, I'm going to have the most title defenses with this belt.
Yeah.
And then just over the course of like 3 or 4 months, he's defended it more than anybody else. But
Yeah.
then, he basically wore himself out. And as a result of that, he is, easily beaten by somebody finally.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, but like, would that be more interesting than the length of time?
No. Well, at least in my mind,
Yeah.
because my mind is trained on how many months has somebody had it.
Right.
But yeah, I see what you're saying.
Right. Well, yeah, because like if someone holds it for like 3 months, like look at Darby for example, he didn't defend it at all for like a couple months, and it didn't really matter. But then he eventually had like I think he had a total of 9, but he had like 7 or 8 almost in a row
Yeah.
title defenses. That's when it got good.
Because Brody Lee's the one that took that from him, right?
No,
Or was it
Brody took
Cody?
it from Cody.
Gotcha.
Cody took it
okay.
back in the dog collar, and then
Yeah.
Darby finally got his win,
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
and then he got murdered,
Yes. Yes.
which everyone
Um,
expected.
Sure. I don't know. I,
Like,
I,
I would be
I'm looking-
interested in a like. I think just because you could set up arguments as well, like, oh, I held it longer, yeah, but you didn't defend it. Like, there'd be a few
Sure.
extra little things that people could dig into if they needed.
Sure. So what do you think about Jade having the TBS belt?
I'm fine with it. I would have liked to see Ruby win that
Yeah.
match.
Yeah.
But like, if you're going from like a star power kind of thing, like Jade to the average person is clearly going to look like a bigger deal. She
Yeah, but
definitely stands out.
she's green. She's very green when it comes to wrestling.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's why it was kind of peculiar to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're trying the make a star out of the person kind of deal. Like, because I mean, they know there's the chance that that's going to backfire. Like, they're
Sure.
not dumb. Because like, look at other people though, like Brock Anderson. Like they're
Yeah.
not pushing him hard at all. Hook, they're taking their time with him. Like, there's people that they're bringing up. They're taking their time. Jungle Boy, like, they're
Yeah.
not like pushing these people super hard, so they know the normal way to do it. I just kind
Yeah.
of think that she stands out so much that maybe they're like, all right, let's see it. Like, we're gonna give you everything you need. You just got to pull it off. Because I mean, she's definitely gotten better in the ring, but
Sure.
I mean, I don't think she has that many matches at all. So,
I think she's done a lot of stuff on Dark and Elevation.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of those though have been her like pump kick.
Sure.
Jade.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
like the more.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When she wrestled Ruby Soho,
Yeah.
you could see, like, yeah, Ruby is clearly a better wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's stuff that Jade does. Like, I think I was watching Dark and she fought Sky Blue, and there was a moment where she was standing by the ropes, and you could tell she was waiting on Sky to run across the ring towards her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where if she would have, like, because she was like kind of selling and kind of waiting for her, but it's one of those things that she would have dropped down to a knee and like put her hand on her head for just a second,
Yeah.
it would have looked way better. And that's something that if you watch it back, I would assume that if she watched it back with like whoever her like coach at, like say Dustin Rhodes, for example, like watching it back, he's like, yeah, right there, you could have done something a little, just that one little thing would have made that not stand out so much or look
Sure.
better. So, but I mean, it's going to be getting experience, but then, okay, do you really want to have somebody getting experience as the champion?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So I don't know.
And she's the bad guy, so she's going to be dominant in the matches. whether she wins or loses. I mean, it could just be something to like it shows how much faith they have that she's going to work out. But I don't know. Like, it's definitely like it's giving her a lot of unnecessary scrutiny. That's for sure.
Sure.
Because again, how many years have people watched like people who have no business doing stuff in wrestling do it because of WWE with certain things?
Sure.
So I think everyone is scarred.
Sure. Who else?
But I did like where she came out in the Storm attire.
Sure. I mean,
Like, that was brilliant. I mean, not that that was hard. Like,
I 100% believe if Marvel reboots X-Men that they should call her up, be Storm, because she would definitely play a great role.
it turns out she can control the elements as well in real life, so it's
Yes.
cut down on CGI.
Yes, exactly.
That'd be amazing. All right. So, was there any like were you watching any TV shows or anything else in between when you were laid up?
I watched. Oh well, like last night. We can talk about TV for a little bit if you want.
Yeah. Let me hit the doohickey here.
Something that could never ever possibly destroy us. Mr. Stay Puft.
He chose poorly. You have chosen wisely.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know why I did this. I was just bored because when I was sick, I watched so much crap on TV. I'm just bored with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it was
I'm
basically just putting something on to like pass out to.
Yeah. So I watched I Love Lucy.
Yeah.
And I watched the episode last night. It was in season 6 of I Love Lucy. Superman and Batman is canon in her universe.
Like,
it's weird.
They exist.
Because they were watching the news. Because last night's episode had Superman in it.
Yeah.
They was watching the news, and Superman's flying around saving people, and their reality. I was like, this is weird. And so anyway, their kid, little Ricky, was having a birthday party, and she's like, she goes, Rick, her husband, she goes, you know Superman. Can you ask him to come to Ricky's birthday party? And he said, well, I have to get a hold of Superman's secretary and see what he says. But yeah, Superman, Batman are reality, and I Love Lucy.
Yeah. Looks like George Reeves is the guy who played Superman.
Well, he played Superman in the TV show.
Yeah. I'm just
So,
saying,
yeah.
like, yeah, it was that.
And somebody mentioned, I don't know how I say Batman. Someone mentioned Batman. He wasn't in the show, but they mentioned him. So it's weird.
I'm reading something, but like they're talking about it on TV, like the news.
Yeah.
Because this, and maybe that was like after the fact or before the fact. But yeah,
Okay.
like there's an episode features a guest appearance by George Reeves as Superman. His character is referred to Superman throughout the episode rather than his name. But they said there were hints throughout meant to clue adult viewers in that the character is only an actor.
I don't think so. Because they were having problems moving a piano.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to get outside it, because Lucy's like on the edge of a windowsill.
Yeah.
And I guess Superman was like, "Oh, I'll go get her." And they were having problems moving a piano. He just picks it up and just pushes it out of the way. So I mean, yeah, I guess it could have been an actor. What they were hinting at, but they were also really strongly hinting that he was Superman. So I don't know.
I might have to watch the episode at some point.
It's season 6. Might be episode 13, maybe.
Yep.
But yeah, just watch it. I mean, I don't know. I got the impression that it's Superman in I Love Lucy universe.
I mean, it's like, regardless, it's super weird. Like, I guess
Well,
at
the whole
the
episode was
time-
weird. Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of the I Love Lucy episodes, or Lucy and Desi or whatever,
Yeah.
like those shows got real weird real quick.
Sure. So
I mean, you're
I
trying
don't
to
know.
eat all the pies as they're coming off the assembly line for some reason.
Sure.
Like, I don't know. I've never thought that I could eat more than one pie in a sitting, let alone, like, I can eat so many pies that they will not fall on the floor or
Yeah.
whatever crazy stuff was going on.
No.
I don't know. Did you
I
watch
wa-
anything else, or
I watched a lot of Pawn Stars.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. What else did I watch? Forged in Fire. Watched that.
Wait,
Yeah.
is that where they make the weapons?
Yeah, that's
Like the
basically
YouTube series?
Yeah.
Now,
Where they're
wasn't
making
that,
weapons.
didn't that used to be like Man at Arms or something?
I think it's a copy because
Okay.
Forged in Fire is a History Channel one.
Oh, okay.
I think Man at Arms is
The YouTube
another.
series. Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, but like that's where they'll take like either video game weapons or something and they make like a real life version of them, right?
Yes.
Like that.
Yeah.
Did any
Like
of
History
those
History
episodes-
Channel. History Channel's more historical weapons
Yeah.
than, but yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
So they weren't making Frostmourne and trying to figure out ways to capture people inside it.
Yeah. Yes.
The,
Yeah. So that's pretty much what I watch is junk TV.
I mean, that's kind of all you can do. Like at a certain point, like if you're like when I was sick, the chair I was in, like the only thing I could do is like I think I would turn on like Twitch streams on my phone
Oh, okay.
and set it by me. But
Yeah.
like, there's only like so many streamers that I can actually watch.
Sure.
Because again, I don't like the hype bros. I don't want to watch Mojo Raleigh getting hyped and staying hyped on my Twitch stream.
Sure.
I like the people that are reasonably normal voice.
Sure.
Maybe because I'm lazy, but I like the low energy talkers.
Oh, I'm with you.
But yeah,
So
excuse me.
yeah, you all right? You all
I
right?
think so. It's that early morning cold weather sinus garbage.
So we can finish it up with gaming news because I don't know if you've heard about this new thing.
I might not have. Here we go.
Get over here! Time's up. Let's do this.
Okay.
So apparently, the next expansion to World of Warcraft is the Dragon Isles.
I was before you hopped onto the Discord. I was watching a video about it a little bit, where I guess they had the leak.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out if that's true or not. But yeah, I guess like Azeroth Awakens and Galakrond's going to be involved.
Who?
Galakrond. You may know him as play a card that does certain amounts of things, and you eventually can turn into Galakrond.
Oh, the big robot guy.
No,
Is that
it's the like it was the hero power or like the hero card.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
Where it's like,
yeah.
oh, you can. I forget the word they use, but yeah, it's basically like play a card and you get like the Galakrond effect, and then when you turn into Galakrond, you get like some kind of crazy ability. And
Didn't
5
we
armor.
already have a dragon destroying Azeroth once?
No,
Okay, all right.
I don't remember that.
Okay.
Definitely didn't cause a cataclysm.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, no, this is a bigger dragon that Deathwing is going to have to fight or something. The thing I was watching, I was like half listening to it and half not, but I'd look over and it'd be a picture of what I assume was meant to be Galakrond and the other dragons, and
Gotcha.
like Deathwing was what they. I think it was like Asmongold had one that popped up for me. I might have been watching that one, but it looked like old style artwork. But if what I caught was right, it was like Galakrond was like huge and like Deathwing was barely the size of his face.
Well, okay.
Like as far as like a scale.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Nothing like. Yeah, because I guess what's happening in the current expansion isn't like Arthas back or something like that.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I would be lying if I said that I followed with it.
Yeah.
I know, like, Sylvanas got her soul back, much
Yeah.
like Spike when he was
Yeah.
in love with Buffy.
Yeah.
And then her and Uther were buddies.
Okay.
And I just don't think there's any way that Sylvanas doesn't die.
Well, she has the one night elf out to get her, so yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I-
Tyrande.
I'm thinking. So here's how I think that's going to play out. Whenever this expansion ends, Sylvanas is going to do a face turn, and she'll be a good guy. And right when she becomes a good guy, the night elf chick will cut her head off or something like that.
That'd be good.
Yep.
Because while I do not like Malfinern, Tyrande is fine.
Yes.
Malfurion.
Yes. Oh, I know. You're
I'm
talking
just saying
about
the right name so people don't think that I don't know what his name is. But
Your your hatred, much like your hatred towards Superman, is weird. So yes.
dude gets stuck in brambles just constantly. Like,
Yep.
for being a demigod, he needs an awful lot of help.
All right. Well, I think we kind of ramble a long time here.
It's fine. First time back in
And-
a while. So, I mean,
Yeah.
we don't even know if people are downloading this thing still. So,
It's true. We could have
pretty
killed our own
sure.
show.
we'll start something new.
Yes.
We will start the Pixel
Pizzas.
Art podcast.
Start talking about pizza. You know what? Since I had COVID, I cannot eat pizza now. The taste is disgusting to me.
Really,
Yes.
I have often said that from a food standpoint, like, pizza is a weakness of mine. And if I never ate pizza, I'd probably be about 30 pounds lighter. And I'm
Sure.
like, if I could just not like pizza,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to get sick in order to get to that point, though.
No, I wouldn't recommend doing that. But yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah,
I should cancel my reservation to the COVID party where I was going to go and try to catch it.
Did you hear about those idiots doing that? They're having Omicron parties.
I assume that is the mentality of the chickenpox parties when you were little.
Yeah.
Because like, it was pretty much you were going to get chickenpox so that you get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Probably not the best idea back then either, I would bet.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, but I can't eat pizza. I can't drink soda. And Junior Mints. Junior Mints, Ross. Junior.
Yeah,
I
look,
love Junior Mint.
Was it Kramer that loved the Junior Mints?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you've been saved from dropping one inside somebody during
Yes.
surgery is really what's
Yes.
happened here. Yeah, I like Junior Mints, but I like about 4 or 5 of them, and then it's too much.
Oh, I love them. And now
I think the equivalent to me would be if I couldn't eat Cadbury eggs.
Sure.
Like that's what I imagine. So,
Sure.
All right, everybody. Well, we'll find out if we at least get like 5 or 10 people who are still downloading the show, and then we'll probably be back.
Yes.
If
Yes.
not, we'll put a link to our new show where we talk about pixel art and Lenny Kravitz.
There you go. There you go.
I wonder how
Great
long we can
combination.
keep that. I
Great
know nothing
combination.
about either, but for some reason that was the first celebrity music name that came to my mind. So,
Lenny Kravitz. There we go.
all right, let me see if I could find this outro button. I honestly forgot how to work the Stream Deck for a second when we started up. All right, here we go. See you guys eventually.
See you.